The sovereignty of the heart. In the age of ancient chivalry, a knight named Mael committed a grave offense against the laws of the land and the dignity of women. He was brought before the High King, his life hanging by a thread as the court looked on with cold, judging eyes. The law demanded his head, for he had taken by force what should only be given with love, and his pride was finally humbled by the weight of his chains. However, Queen Guinevere, a woman of sharp intellect and deep mercy, stepped forward to stay the executioner's hand. She looked at the disgraced Mael and offered him a riddle instead of a rope. "I will grant you 1 year and 1 day," she declared, "to find the answer to this. What is it that women desire most above all things? If you fail to bring back the truth, your life is forfeit." Mael traveled across the kingdom, from the highest spires to the lowest taverns. He questioned every woman he met, but the answers were as varied as the stars. A wealthy merchant woman told him women desired wealth and fine silk. Others spoke of flattery or fame, or the freedom to marry as they pleased. Yet, none of these answers felt like the singular, heavy truth he needed to save his soul. On the final day of his quest, Mael rode through a shadowed, ancient forest, despair weighing heavy on his chest. In a clearing, he saw an old woman named Eldra, sitting by a gnarled oak tree. Her face was a map of 1,000 years of hardship, and her eyes sparkled with a wisdom that seemed older than the stones of the earth. She beckoned him closer as the sun began to set behind the trees. Eldra promised Mael the answer he sought, but her price was steep. "I will save your life," she whispered, her voice sounding like the rustle of dry leaves in autumn. "But you must swear to grant me the first request I make of you after your life is spared." Desperate and out of time, Mael knelt before her in the dirt and gave his word, binding his fate to hers with a solemn oath. Back at the royal court, Mael stood before Queen Guinevere and a silent assembly of ladies. With newfound confidence, he spoke the words Eldra had whispered in the woods. "What women desire most," he said clearly, "is sovereignty. We wish to have agency over our own lives and power over our husbands and lovers. We wish to be the masters of our own destiny." A hush fell over the room, followed by the queen's slow, approving nod. Mael was free, but before he could celebrate, Eldra stepped from the shadows of the pillars. She addressed the queen directly, claiming her prize with a voice that brooked no argument. "I saved this man's life," she said, "and now I demand he take me as his wife in the eyes of the law." The wedding was a somber affair, and the marriage bed felt like a tomb to Mael. He lay beside Eldra in the dim candlelight, his heart filled with bitterness at her age and her rugged appearance. He could not hide his revulsion, turning his back to the woman who had saved him. He felt trapped by the very life he had fought so hard to keep, mourning his lost youth. Eldra spoke with a voice of calm grace. "You are miserable because I am old and plain," she noted. "So I offer you a choice. I can remain as I am, loyal and true until the end of my days. Or I can become young and beautiful, but you must take the risk of my heart wandering. Which will you have, a plain wife who is faithful, or a beautiful one who may cause you grief?" Mael paused, the weight of his quest finally sinking in. He looked at Eldra and realized he had no right to choose her path for her. "My lady," he sighed, "the choice is yours. I yield my will to yours. You must decide what is best for yourself." At those words, Eldra transformed into a radiant woman, for by giving her sovereignty, he had won her heart and her beauty forever.